This episode of The Wretched contains graphic descriptions of suicide that may not be suitable for sensitive listeners. This is The Wretched, an actual play podcast of a game by Chris Bezette and played by Ben Maddox. Episode 5, The Truth Emerges. So welcome to this episode of The Wretched. Now, we haven't had an episode of The Wretched for a while, and it wasn't because I've been away and all of that, and then I did episodes from Portugal and things. No, it was because, how do I put it? I've had to be seeking legal advice. So I received a letter a few weeks ago to the cabin, which is very surprising because I'm not in the directory, so... But, I received a letter, so I had to consult with my lawyers on how to proceed. And, well, we think we've come up with a workaround for the legal issues, but it's taken this long, basically. So that's why we haven't had a thing. So I received a letter on rather official-looking notepaper, and it also came with a rather disturbing MP3, which actually is just the letter. And why they sent an MP3 in an envelope, I didn't know you could do that for a start, but secondly, they did. And so I tell you what, I'll just, rather than read the letter, rather than have me do it, I'll have it come from the horse's mouth. Dear Bellend, I am writing this cease and desist letter, and failure to comply with the following demands will result in an eternity of soul torture under the gentle hands of Azathoth and those blind violinists or something. Our client and his son, who will from heretofore be referred to as C and D, discovered you were using a die named after an elder god that has nothing to do with our client C, and broadcasting the results of that die to the public. Under Elder God Statute Fatagan 666, use of the name Cthulhu, Derek, and Cthulhu-mobile are under copyright, and continued use will result in your podcast and YouTube channel being banished to the Dreamlands for a term of no shorter than 18 eons. We expect you to comply by the 1st of April at the latest. We wish you an eternity of horror and indifference. Mr. N. Lothartatep, Mother of Puss Associates. So you can see the problem right there. I received a cease and desist letter, and I don't even know. I don't even know if I'm allowed to. If I say it once, they won't notice. For using the Cthulhu die, and so I had to consult my lawyer, and I thought the Cthulhu die was a absolutely integral part of this show, so I fought very bravely in an outer-dimensional, non-Euclidean court to retain use of the Cthulhu die, but unfortunately we rather lost in court, and although I haven't been banished to the outer realms, I'm no longer allowed to use the Cthulhu die, so I thought I would use here, so what we're using from now on, the D6 we're using, picture in your mind, is a shiny purple dice tower branded die, and as you know, I'm a sort of freelance employee of the Dice Tower. I thought that would be fine. So we're using that die now, and it was all rather, unseemly, having to go to court, and the people who had accused us of copyright infringement. I have no idea who they are, why they did it. It seems to me that, it was rather a sort of bitter lawsuits, but nevertheless, the Yig, the snake god, judged in their favour, so we're having to change dye. So that's why we haven't been around for a while. But anyway, so here we are, Wretched, episode 5 of The Real Thing. Last time was rather a sort of relaxed episode, and it was, you know, he was talking about his life on the ship and death and all of that sort of stuff. I mean, this is you know, it's depressing, so there's going to be a lot of that. But hopefully we'll get some action this week, but who knows? But also, we have, remember, we can fix the distress beacon if I roll a 6 on the dice tower dice. And if I hit a 6, then I'll be able to remove a thing. I've got 8 left on there. I've also drawn 1 king. I think if I draw all 3 kings of Orientar, then I die instantly. But, so, with that, what we should do is just get into it. Let's just get into it. I mean, look, I'm looking at it, like 5 minutes. 5 minutes this podcast has been going. And, you know, I mean, I think it's important to tell the listener of my legal troubles, but apart from that, I mean, there's no excuse, right? So I'm just going to get into it. This is me pulling the packet of cards outside of the thingy and putting the ones I've already used back in the box. This is very exciting. All right, so the first thing we have to do, and I've got the Jenga tower set up here, and I haven't knocked the Jenga tower over in the intervening time, and it's been a while too. I mean, I've been out to the outer dimension. I've been to Yugoth on the way back. I had a terrible layover at Yugoth. I mean, there's only one airport I can think that's worse than Yugoth, and that's Berlin-Brandenburg. So yeah, but in that time, you know, the Jenga tower hasn't been knocked over, which is great. And you know, I'm surprised that Cthulhu hasn't popped in to the show, because he seems he's a big fan, and he wanted to. I mean, last time he tried to take over the entire show himself, but he hasn't been around. I don't know why. But I saw at the court, actually, I saw there was a guy in sort of aviator shades and a baseball cap, and he had a very tentacly face, and then there was what looked like, you know, well, I mean, I could have sworn it was a Starspawn next to him, baseball cap, aviator shades, but you know, Starspawn with their anus that fires out rainbow colours. I mean, they're very difficult to make. I think it was a Starspawn, and they seemed very happy at the result, but they were just sat in the gallery. And I don't know, because the person who accused me of this, who reported me, is still unknown to me. Anyway, yeah, so I'm surprised Cthulhu hasn't turned up, but, you know, maybe next episode he would have turned up. So first thing I've got to do, I've got to roll the d6 to see how many cards I'm going to draw. This is exciting. Okay, so I rolled a 3, which means I'm going to have to draw 3 cards, and I'm probably going to have to pull the Jenga tower. And, like, it would be a shame if it were to end this week. It's just the Jenga tower's looking a bit ropey at the moment. And if the Jenga tower falls over, I die, of course. But it would be a shame for it to end this week, because I don't feel the story's been told yet. So, here we are. And, as you remember, the 4 suits represent different things. You have the hearts to represent your ship's systems. Diamonds represents your ship's physical structures. Clubs represents the crew. And spades represent the creature. So, first card. Are we excited? It's the 8 of clubs. What does the 8 of clubs do? Isn't this exciting? So if you remember, clubs represents the crew. So this is going to be like all miserable on that, I think. Let's have a look. 8 of clubs. Which member of the crew jumped into harm's way to try and protect the others? And how much time did they buy you all? Ah, that's nice. I like that. So I think it's going to be John. I think his name's Weird John, didn't I call him? Yeah, the engineer. And the irony is he would be the one who would be able to deal with the ship, and he was the one who jumped. So I'm going to put John jumped in front of the beast. He enabled us to get it outside. I'm going to reveal here that many then lost all hope and took their own lives. So that's going to be... So the beast didn't kill all of them. The beast didn't kill all of them. The rest of them took their own lives, and I couldn't do it. Even though it was clear that the only outcome would have been death and that. Alright, second card, that's good. Two of Hearts. Very exciting, and I think Hearts is the ship system, isn't it? So the Two of Hearts. God, I haven't had to pull from the tower. The water purification system still works, but it's notably less efficient. What does it feel like to drink water that smells faintly of ammonia? I think he's going to be very thankful of the water and its smell makes him feel connected to those who have gone. That's weird, isn't it? It's a bit kinky. It's a bit kinky that he's into the wee-wee smell. All right, third card. The Eight of Spades. The Eight of Spades. All right, where are we? Eight of Spades. It's going to be the monster, isn't it? And I do have to pull from the tower this time. So, you didn't see the creature properly because you were hiding, but you heard it. What does it sound like? So, it skitters, because I think that's the obvious thing. It skitters, but it has a sound that is undescribable, but he describes what it does to the body and postulates that it is an aid for hunting. There we go. So it's evolved the sort of sonic fucking paralyzing thing. All right, so I've got a draw from the tower. This is very exciting now. Okay, Bob on the drums. So this one's coming out the middle. The middle's always the best place to pull it from. Oh, it's coming out. Oh, no problem. And John, you ready with symbol? Bob, you ready with symbol? Boom! There we go. Okay, so basically what I wrote, John jumped in front of the beast. It enabled us to get it outside. Then many lost all hope and took their own lives. He's going to be very thankful of the water, and its smell makes him feel connected to those who have gone. It skitters, but it has a sound that is indescribable, but he describes what it does to the body and postulates that it's an aid for hunting. So, here we go. That's the prompts drawn. I put the cards away. Hopefully the Jenga Tower will stay up for the next 2 weeks. And yeah, so thank you ever so much for listening. Please, I was going to put up a GoFundMe for the legal costs, but they wanted paying in souls from Limbo, and so I assumed you couldn't actually process funds in that way through a GoFundMe, so I didn't end up coming to a GoFundMe in the end. But I don't envisage any more legal costs. Oh God, hang on, I've got to roll for the thingy. I've got to roll for the beacon. Hang on. No, I didn't do it. Anyway, so I don't envisage having any more legal costs. I think it's done. I escaped banishment. But, there is a Patreon, patreon.com/5G4D, just in case I get another cease and desist letter. I mean, I don't know who it is. But, and also I quite like, I think me and Cthulhu, the Lord Cthulhu, it wasn't so good last time we met. And so I'd quite like to get him over. But, you need a big hotel room for Cthulhu. So if you could go to the Patreon, that would help, putting Cthulhu up. And, Derek's obviously going to come, and they're going to need, somewhere to park the Cthulhu mobile. And so, if you could help, patreon.com/5GFD. Otherwise, tell your friends about the show, and I hope you enjoy what's coming up. And with that said, I'm going to go write it!
Day 5. Salvage ship the Wretched. Ship's Dr. Ben Maddox reporting. I'm still alive, my love. Just. The water purification system isn't working as it once did. That means, and I know this will sound disgusting, the drinking water smells a bit like pee. I know. And I've tested it. It's perfectly drinkable, but there is the smell. Funny thing is that the smell reassures me. You've never been on a spaceship, darling, but there's one thing you always get told by those that have. The toilets smell terrible. You have to be efficient with the water, you see, and they only use just enough to clean the toilets, and so they smell terrible. They barely smell now, though, as there's only one person using them. I never thought I'd miss the smell of piss. So strange. That's why the smell of the water reassures me. It takes me back to a time when there were people alive on here. When it was normal. I drink the water and I don't feel so alone. God, that sounds perverted. Well, you find yourself stranded in deep space with an unknown creature wanting to eat your face, and then you tell me that I'm weird. I haven't managed to get the equipment together to venture out of that ship yet, but I think I'll be ready tomorrow. I'm so scared, darling. Even though death is a certainty, I still want to live so much. To see you again. I had to get the electronic equipment locker key off John's body today. This is the worst, darling. Ripped to pieces. I have to come clean. The creature didn't kill most of us. When it got into the ship, straight away it killed 2 people. And when we went to investigate it ambushed us. It hid, waiting for us. Then we heard that skitter across the walkway, and I dived into a locker in the room we were in. I'm so ashamed to say. So I didn't see the thing, but I heard it. It skittered, and then it let out this cry. It was not a sound that any creature that has ever existed on Earth could have made. Organic and mechanical and electronic all at the same time. I felt the muscles in my body slacken. Involuntarily. I tried to move, but I couldn't. When they had dragged me back to the medbay, they told me what happened. They'd all dropped to the floor, they said. Except John. They didn't know why, but the sound the creature emitted didn't affect him. They said that he fired his weapon at the creature's throat and the noise stopped and they could move again. I'd passed out by this time. He sacrificed himself, darling. John threw himself at the beast, and while it was busy tearing him apart, they managed to bundle the thing out of the airlock. They rescued John's remains they wouldn't say. Those wonderful people I'd known for all those months changed after they saw that thing. It was nothing, they said, but I could see it. It was as if seeing the thing had sapped their will to live. There was something missing from them. An unquantifiable spark of humanity had been snuffed out. It was Andre who did it first. Slit his wrists in the cockpit, looking out into space. Then one by one, they all took their own lives. Someone got into the locked drug cabinet in the medbay, stole the keys from out of my jacket. They distributed the medicinal fentanyl to everyone else. And soon, I was alone. Oh, God. I dread seeing it. If it does that to me, too. I at least want to die fighting, not sinking into nothingness. I dread that more than anything. There was no pain left in them. Just a need to... just need to not be here anymore. Oh, God. I need to get to that ship outside. I need to at least die trying, doing something. I have to go. I have to work on getting to that ship. I've wasted so much time already. Just know that I love you. More than the world. This is Ben Maddox, ship's doctor, signing off.
All music by Chris Bizet. The game can be bought at loottheroom.itch.io. If you want to support the podcast, you can do that by going to patreon.com/5G4D. Thank you for listening.